Hello, everybody, and a very happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Welcome to your daily lighting critique. We've got about 5 videos to go through. We've got a bunch of still images, so we're going to hop into it today. All right. So first off, we have Aaron's piece here that we are checking out. This is a continuation. It's an animation of the still. I should have brought up the still. Actually, I can just do it over here. From your submission for the last lighting challenge. Yours is in here somewhere. Aaron, you're at the top. So you guys can see what the lighting on her looks like and what the lighting on the cubes looks like. And we're just about, like animating this background. The animation looks really cool. Is there like music that goes along with it? Because it feels like it's pulsating to a rhythm of a beat or something.
No.
That was such a great no. That was such a great no.
Because I even was thinking last night, like, do I even have reference for this? I'm like, no, this is just something that I thought of. So, like, if it's not working, like,
no, it's okay.
I can do whatever.
It's not problematic. It's just it just feels. It wasn't what I was expecting. Like I was expecting more. I wasn't expecting the pulsating.
Okay.
And it's fine. It's just I was expecting more of like a smooth rotation kind of stuff. It's just yeah.
So here's what this is. This is basically minimal layers, obviously, right? So it's just like, I think there's 3 layers in this whole thing. Just to show, just because I didn't want to render everything, right? I think there's like 15 layers total. So I need to basically nail my camera movement. I need to nail the speed of the particles, and then I can, because I mean, she's lit, right? So like, then I can just, overnight, I can start rendering her layers while I'm sleeping.
Right.
The pulsating thing, just like in my mind, I was kind of thinking like, when I think my original reference sheet is like, I said something like hemorrhaging light or something. And so that's kind of what, like I wanted like this pulsating distortion. So it's just an animation inside Nuke.
I would
some like lens distorts and stuff.
Yeah, do a version without it, because I actually I'm realizing now, like I actually stopped this from playing because it was kind of like it was like shaking me. Like I was starting to get like nauseated with it, just like playing on loop in the background, just because like. So I think it'll be a totally different look, but for me in my head it was all about, because like what we're seeing to me feels very like futuristic and very like, like hyper digital. I don't know if that's a term, but like very super cool. And one of the things that I think about that is like all of that stuff would be like, it's all just like a flowing, smooth motion. And so that's why I thought we were going with this. It's like all like every gear doesn't, like there's no squeaking wheels. There's none of that. It's all just like it's all kind of cool like that. But yeah, but that was what I was envisioning.
I'll for sure do it, because like when I got done with this and I got this render kicked out, I was like, well, the pulsating kind of, it kind of eliminates the rotation motion parallax too. Yeah. Like it takes away from that. And so when I was watching the pulsating, I'm like, it starts feeling like, it starts feeling like she's rotating against a flat image, which is not what's happening. Like,
I see.
There is a camera swoop. And so then my other option was, okay, I could go, I'm in a bad spot, because she's frame 84 as the hero pose, and it starts at frame 1. I don't know if Maya and Nuke will accept negative numbers, so I don't, I'm in a spot.
I don't know if they do or not. I haven't checked that. You might want to ask Callahan about that from the Nuke side.
I can always render like negative 5.
I've done it too. I'm trying to remember. This was a long time ago where I ran into the same issue, and I didn't have time to investigate. And to be safe, I rendered out as 2 different files. Like I did the negative 50 to 0, because like Maya will definitely do it, but like I think I renamed them to be like 1 to 50 or something. And then I just rendered those separately, rendered the other things separately, and then just edited them together. But
okay.
But I think I think it does. I'm 99% sure that Maya does allow you to go into negative numbers. Because because you need pre-roll on some stuff like effect simulations and stuff. You need pre-roll, and so I think that would be beneficial. That's why like when I first started at jobs, I would see a lot of people starting on frame 101, and I never understood why. And it's like, oh, I get it now. It gives you some buffer if you're like, we need 20 frames ahead of this.
Yep. So what, 84? That's almost like 3 seconds, and then on a demo it would be this blended into the final frame, the hero shot, and then breakdown. So like I feel like 3 seconds of this is kind of enough anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So yeah, I would say, I mean, like the lighting is there, everything else is there. It's like I would just do an iteration with and without this, without the pulsating, and we'll see what we think.
Okay, I'll disable that tonight and get it in tomorrow.
Perfect.
Great.
All right, Aaron. Round 2. Okay. So this is the newer version. It looks so clean. Looks really nice. It's just compared to the previous one. I'm gonna open this up to you guys to see if you all have any notes. I feel like this is working well. The only thing I was thinking was, as the grandpa steps forward, there's a lot of red hue in his skin, and I would just pull that back a little bit in the comp. Just like dial back the red saturation in his skin, like especially, like right around his eye here.
Yep.
Some areas, but that's pretty minor. I think everything else is working pretty well. Does anybody have any notes on this or any thoughts?
That's looking great.
Yeah. Are we ready to clap? All right. Yeah. Love it. All right. Perfect. Nicely done. Nicely done, Aaron. I know. Yeah. This is. This was you've been going back and forth in this one for a long time. I don't know your numbering system. I don't know if that's 210 times or 13, but it's good. You've done great with this.
I don't think I've submitted it 210 times. It's just
I think you definitely did. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean,
I'm kidding.
It's a catch-up month. It's all old material this month, so it's like I'm gonna clear it out and move on next month.
Everyone should strive for his naming convention because it's really organized and really lovely. Okay, Forrest, you're here. I saw you here. Yeah, you are. Let me turn on the audio so we can hear it.
You gotta believe, but you gotta learn to use your wings.
Use my wings. You know how ridiculous you sound right now?
You wanna fly, you gotta believe, but you gotta learn to use your wings.
Use my wings. You know how ridiculous you sound right now?
You wanna fly, you gotta believe.
I think it's looking good. I still think that the bird's tongue can come down in saturation a little bit, but like other than that, I think it's good. Are we gonna clap 2 times in a row, guys? Does anyone have any notes? Forrest, how you feeling about it? You there?
Yeah, feeling good. I totally forgot about the tongue, so that's an easy fix that I can do.
Yeah, just it's one of those, unless you're on one of those frames, you won't see it.
Yeah.
This looks great. It's looking great. All right, clapping time. Good job, Forrest. All right, yay! All right.
Thanks.
It works so much better with people on camera. It makes me so happy. Okay, Kevin. Let's see. Oh, Kevin's not here, but we'll go through this one real quick. All right. So something funny about this that like I was catching more reflection on this. Actually, let's go back to Aaron's just to see. I guess it's just darker in that area. Yeah, it might be a good idea to kind of do that to kind of tone down some of the area here in the foreground a little bit more. Not so much because of the reflection specifically, but just to kind of help balance that out and create a little bit more vignetting. So I'm just looking at the little girl back there. Yeah, I think she's looking good. I liked the transition of her lighting from the door into the front one. It kind of it happened smoothly. The one thing that's interesting about this is, yeah, maybe do something to kind of distinguish the door color from the wall color. They feel very, very similar right here. and it just kind of, yeah, I think maybe just darkening the door would be good. I think that looking at the light that's coming from the television onto the grandpa here, I would kind of, there's a couple of things that make him look green. Like it really, the colors change pretty, like it's, let's just look at the last frame here because I think it's there. So like when the green hits him, it like really washes him out. I would keep those colors more, maybe a warm palette. I think there was like a bluish purpley tone in there too that looked pretty good. Like something like this looks nice. But like when we're seeing these green values, it really just like, we really just wash away his warmth in his skin. So I would pull that back. If you want to vary it up, I would do it from the like this color to maybe something just a little bit more neutral, like white. And that would be about it. What else are you guys thinking? Anybody seen anything else? Yeah, I think that's about it. But this one's coming together really well as well. All right, good job with the videos, guys. That was a strong showing right out of the gate. Okay, let's go back to forward today. It's Ruby. We'll start with you. We've got yours loaded up here. I think that it was a good call to darken some of this area back here because this is compositionally, this is really starting to play together really well. I think that like our eye is definitely focused in this region here, which is what we were going for. I think we've got like, I think the structure is there. We've got the reflection of her in the window, which is good. Now we're down to like some detail stuff. And I think some of the things that we can do would be desaturating her glasses. And this is kind of a general note, I think, from her design more than anything that you guys are doing with the lighting, because I've seen this on multiple shots. The magenta of her glasses and also a little bit her coffee, tea, hot chocolate cup it's pretty strong. I would just desaturate those a little bit. Yeah, this is looking good. And then the other thing I would do is take a pass at kind of adding some diffusion softening stuff. I know my cheap trick always in Photoshop to do, and I have some demos on adding diffusion. If you haven't gotten to those yet, let me know and I can send you the links to those. But basically the idea, what's that?
Oh, yes, thanks.
Yeah, great. Right. So basically it would just be a matter of taking this, adding a little bit of blur to it. And again, are you using Nuke to composite this or no, or Photoshop or anything?
Yes.
Photoshop. Okay.
Photoshop.
So it would basically be what I'm doing here. So you can just go back and rewatch it. So all I did was I took the layer, I copied it, and then I did a Gaussian blur of like, depending on the size of the image, this one's like half resolution. So it's like 960 by 540. So I did like a 5 pixel blur. Usually it would be somewhere in like the 8 to 10 range, depending. And then you take this and you screen it back over top of itself. You can also add it, and then what ends up happening is you just kind of get this softening of the light. This is very strong. So what you do is you just take down, I just take down the opacity on it a little bit. And then the other thing that I do is I grab the eraser, because generally speaking, you want this isolated to just the brighter areas of the image. So I just kind of erase it from around the edge, because you don't want to create any more brightness in there. And then what ends up happening is we just have a little bit of like a little bit of a softening of the light on the characters, and just like a little bit of a glow that really, really helps on scenes like this. So I think that taking a pass at that would be good. And then and reducing the saturation on the glasses and mug. I'm looking at, you've got some really nice specularity in the body of the robot.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the eye, and I'm wondering if we can't make it feel a little more glass-like on the outside by adding some reflections to that on this outside of this, just like a little bit out here. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it. I'll open it up to anybody, any other notes. Do you guys have anything that you're seeing?
I wonder, have you experimented with giving the robot like a light, like has like an eye or something on the inside?
Like like the inside here to be glowing. We
Or not even just like I know some of the others are like the full bulb is glowing, but like something that just like gives it like a life.
you know what? We tried it as like it originally was like the whole thing was glowing, right, Ruby?
Yeah, I had like a light in there, and then the whole thing kind of lit up like glowing.
Yeah.
But there was like a ball, like a sphere with like a little bit more saturation than the rest of the glass.
But it might be worth it to try like a smaller bulb in here, like just like a real little one. Is that what you were thinking, Forrest?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, and like we're being pulled to the girl sitting, but just as watching us, I was thinking it might be cool if there was just like a little bit more life in the robot eye.
That's a good. That's not a bad idea too. Like I mean, give it a try, Ruby, and like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then I think the other idea that somebody had was taking the head and rotating it down a little bit, if you can, just so it looks like he's looking at the book.
Okay.
And that might
You could even like if the light is adjusted down, you could avoid because I was playing with the character and yes, if you're not like an expert in modeling, it was tough for me to tilt his head down. But like if the eye light that you have in the inside of the glass is like down a little bit lower, it could look like his eyes are like
like
looking
his gaze is down. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, the nice thing about the way that we work is like save this as an iteration, try it again, and like it's non-destructive, so you won't ruin anything by adding a light in there or adding a little look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one question.
Sure.
In the last iteration, I had like a little bit more light on the robot. I know I turned it down. And this one, I don't know if I went too far on the dark, or is that okay? Because the other one,
good.
You can see like the reddish part of the metal and stuff.
I'm like I inherently like I know that this is a red robot. Like I there's enough indication to me here that his hero color is there without it being too over the top. Because again, like I think this is a good value. I think you've hit a really nice balance. Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. All right, cool. Okay, let's move on to Vanessa. This looks great. I think it looks really pretty. I think the black point on this keyhole is a little bit dark, just because it's like I think it like if you kind of squint, it kind of is the darkest thing in the image, and so just putting just like the way that her darkness is underneath here, just kind of lift that value a little bit. And then I'm wondering if we can't just add a little bit more diffusion to this guy too, because it's really pretty.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say adding a little bit of diffusion to this one as well, like what we did. A little bit more. It looks like you have some. I think that we could probably go a little bit more with it. And that might just be me because I'm a sucker for it, but by just adding a little bit more to that central area.
Okay, yes, definitely.
Yeah. But I think it's really pretty. I think it's great. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this? Those are my only two notes. Yeah, it's really great. It's really coming together well, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Yay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. It looked like you were going to say something. Okay. All right, that was the latency sometimes can be really funny because that was a really great like. Are you gonna say anything? You're like, nope. It was great. It's perfect. It was perfect. Okay. T, we will come back to Dani. You are here. We've got your robot. I actually like Forrest's note to Ruby about having a little light inside the eye. I think that'd be really helpful for yours as well. It wouldn't be overwhelming. It wouldn't be overpowering. It wouldn't necessarily need to illuminate a large area of the room, but just having like a little headlight in there would be good. You've got the Pulp Fiction thing going on with the glowing book, like the glowing briefcase. I think that's pretty cool. Is that more? But that's more from the. You're doing the same thing with like a glowing element from his chest, or is that from the book itself?
It's from the book itself.
Cool. Yeah.
I was thinking like Treasure Planet book.
Oh yeah. That's cool. What's causing this like crescent moon shaped thing on the wall? Do you know?
No, that's weird thing that jumped up from somewhere.
It's weird because it feels like the refraction of something that could. I mean, it might actually be from this glass or something. But no, I was just curious if that was intentional. Okay, so I think that we're getting too bright on some of these faces that are facing into the room, like this wall and down underneath here. I think that those can go darker. I want to find a better like now that we have some of this light bouncing up, I'm wondering if we should emphasize that more and de-emphasize the brightness of the sky outside and make that a little bit darker, because right now they're kind of battling each other a little bit in terms of what's the dominant light source, and I think if we, because there's just more interest in a glowing book, I think if we tone down the outside, increase the bounce on that glowiness a little bit, I think that could be pretty cool. And then like one thing to watch out for is, and I know I said to darken this area down here, but like the bottom of his foot is presenting itself as just like a kind of like a large square, almost black shape, and it's a little bit like it just doesn't kind of fit in with the soft lighting of the rest of the scene. So make sure that nothing is getting that super black.
Yeah.
And then when we tone down the sky, we can tone down some of these like bright rims and stuff on them. Although she's looking pretty good. I think it would just be a matter of turning down her intensity a little bit on her rim side, or what this kind of key rim that she has going on. And then the other thing that would be kind of cool if you can, and I know Jordan did this in his, was try to get a little bit of like specularity in her hair. Actually, let's see. Yeah, like Ruby's got it kind of going on here too. It does. I mean, obviously it doesn't need to be that bright, but just like a little bit to get some more shaping up in there would be good. All right, cool. All right. Anybody have anything else before we hop over?
I think it'd be. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Forrest.
I was gonna say, I thought it'd be cool to, especially since the book is playing such an important role in this one, to see some of the reflection in the robot's eyes.
Yeah.
Or
That's
something
true.
else to kind of establish that the book is the one being lit up and that it has importance.
That's a very, very good point. Yeah, I think that would work out really well. Because make that better connection. Aaron, did you have something too?
Yeah, I was just gonna add. So if I get like not wanting to detract from the light and the glowiness of the book, but I'm almost like I googled like ET finger, and I'm trying to think like if his headlight, like the one on top of his head, if that's like his brain activity, I guess. Like I'm trying to figure out like what each light would kind of represent, right? And you're saying like put light in the eyes to kind of like humanize it, and I'm thinking like there's also the light on the head. That if we're taking this 1-to-1, right, like that would be like his thought process, right? I think there might be a way to like just give it like an emissive quality, maybe not like a light per se, but like some kind of emissive quality to make it just feel like he's a little more there, I guess.
No, that's good too, because without that light on and without anything in the eyes, it feels like he's off. Essentially like he's not turned on. But I like the idea of this being almost like his mood ring at the top of his head. That kind of like it glows a little bit when he's happier, or like whatever the thing may be. Yeah, I haven't thought about its function and the emotional part of the character. I think that's cool. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Cool.
All right, let's hop over into your. We've got your daytime scene here too. Now you've added this ambient occlusion, right?
Yeah, I didn't fit it into the actual scene because I didn't see it making much of a difference.
Okay. Well, it's funny because we've gotten so dark back here. I don't think we really need it anymore. But it's interesting. Like, there's some really weird artifacting going on here. Like on this side, I'm wondering. But if we're not going to use it, it's fine. But like, because you can see like it's getting some. You know what? There may actually be a light turn. Yeah, there's like a light turned on in here. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to worry
It's
about it.
very,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that being said, it's interesting that that it's not in here because my note was that I thought it was in here too strongly. Like it feels like if the shadows feel a little bit heavy, and I know we've had it lifted up a little bit brighter before. I think we just need to balance it a little bit, kind of split the difference. But I do like some of the richness in this is really starting to come out. Like if you just kind of focus in this area here, like that's really starting to look like really rich and nice, and it's very, very cool. But yeah, I think it's coming together well. I think it's just a matter of like you've got this light, like the light is believably coming in this way. This light is now matching it because it's much more like directly down. It would be okay if it spilled onto the floor a little bit over here. I think that would still make sense. But yeah, I think this is looking great. I love the way it's hitting the room. I love the way that we're getting some darker areas now. In and around the space. I think we can just reintroduce a little bit more of that bounce light now.
For which part?
For this part.
To add bounce.
For this part. Like so
Okay.
it just so it
Should
like
I add back foreground also? Because it's very like
yes.
the whole.
Oh no, in the foreground. Sorry, no. I'm sorry. I would keep the foreground. I would keep this area about this level. It's really about like thinking about it in terms of the light hitting back here and then bouncing up into here, bouncing into the fireplace a little bit, and bouncing into the bookcases and fireplace. Just like lifting a little bit. It won't take much. But and then if by adding that it kind of flattens out the bookcases, and then we can throw in a little ambient occlusion in there as well.
Cool.
Good stuff. All right, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Andre. We actually two submissions here. We've got the coffee shop, and then we've got this new one, a new portrait, which is really, really nice. But we'll do that second. Okay, first up, we have we've darkened the character. Let's just do it this way. We've darkened the fill on the characters a little bit. I think we can go a little bit more. I like the way it's going. I think another another iteration of how much you darkened it. I think we can go a little bit more. And you've gotten rid of the black ring around the character and the reflection too, which helps a lot.
Yep.
So that's my only note is just darkening the foreground of the characters. Does anybody else have anything? While I always hate the note, the thing when somebody says like, "Hey, if you're going back in there, while you're in there, would you mind also?" I'm like, nope, that's not how that works. But as we're looking at this, does anyone else have any thoughts? Any other improvement areas?
Yeah, I have one thought, and of course, take it or leave it. I know you're towards the end, but like when I'm looking at the three windows, the two windows on the right look like they're like at a different time of day than the one on the left, just because like all of the overexposure is kind of living in that left window. And so if you wanted to experiment like making that that paint on the left look like the other two, that might be like a thing to try, but I don't think necessary.
It's funny because like the road is the same. Like the road looks fine. It's just that like the corner of this building happens to get cut off back here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might just be a matter of like, just try it because that's a good one. Just like drawing a roto there, although the tree is involved. But just like try drawing a roto there and dropping the exposure a little bit just to see if that because that might and then we might have to cut out the alpha of this tree by using a crypto or something. But I think that's a good thing to try. That's a good call for us.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so Abishek, it looks like you were able to get something loaded. I'm just saying the low. Oh, sorry, I missed your other one. Sorry, Andre. Let's do this first. So I think this is really, cool. I think this is a really good start. The two things that I was noticing was the first one was that I think that we can get the because right now if you kind of again doing the squint test, the area of her torso feels a little brighter than her face, and when you look at the reference, the face is a little brighter than the torso. I think we can flop that a little bit.
Okay.
And then the eye dings are just it's the reflection in the eyes is a little bit, it's too strong, and then she's got a little indication of something up here at the top, and I think that we could probably do that instead of it being like the square reflection in the bottom again, but that's totally minor. Overall, I think it looks really, really great. I think I'm trying to think about the depth of field because it's interesting. Because it's totally accurate. Like, it's totally based on Z depth space, where her face and like this part of her chest would be in focus, but like this is in foreground, and then her neck is actually back behind it. But I'm wondering if we can't soften the defocus in this region, just to kind of soften that transition to her neck, because it makes it feel like her torso, like this, like her collarbone area is, because it's against such a blurry area. It like pops out as an area of interest. It's like a thing that we should be looking at.
Okay.
Her sweater looks like the knit on her sweater looks really cool. Like that ended up looking really great. Like this specular highlight on her earring looks really great. The darkness of her hair is nice with just like a little bit of indication of light coming down. But I think overall this one's really nice. I don't know. Do you guys have anything?
I just have a question.
Oh.
Is the defocus based on Maya? Like, is it based on CG render, or is it based on Z depth inside of Nuke or something?
It's in Maya, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it like on her chest, it feels like it goes from sharp to blurry like really quickly. But if that's the actual camera, then I don't know if that's really.
It actually, it's one of these things where it feels like accurate. It feels like it's actually the depth as it exists in space.
Yeah. It
just looks weird. Right? It just feels a little funny. Ruby, did you have something too? Oh, you got a thumbs up. Okay. You look like you just went like this before. There was a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then a super minor one. I would perhaps brighten her fingernails a little bit.
Okay.
They just look like darkened. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool.
Also,
maybe
move the eye things a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about yeah.
But maybe darken her fingernails.
Yes, one way or the other would be good.
Yeah. Because I think like a black fingernail would be like nicer.
Yeah, that's fine. It looks too flesh colored right now.
Okay.
It looks too similar to her skin tone. The other thing, and you've kind of got it here, and I think it's good. But like just something to point out to everybody. Like look at the texture and the roughness on her skin. Like you can see all of like we're not even that close to her, but like we really feel the roughness of a skin tone. Like because people like this that are photographed often have like a lot of makeup on that kind of softens all that stuff, but you can still really pick up the pores and the detail in the skin. So I just thought that was interesting when I was looking at the reference. But yeah, really, really beautiful stuff. Also, her eye whites might be a little strong, but I didn't want to take away from that because the look of the pupil and the iris and everything like that looks really good. Like it's the right value. It's really cool. Okay. All right. Oh, Abishek. Here we go. All right. We've got this for reference. And let's take a look here. Okay, cool. Yeah, the inside of the room looks a lot better. Our portrait of the little girl looks less scary. She looks like a happy little kid now. That's good. Yeah, I think this is looking much better than it did yesterday or the day before. Can't remember. No, it was yesterday. some things to watch out for, and this Boss Baby reference is really good. Look at the white value on the frame of the window. It's white, but it has a little bit of warmth from the sun, and it's not quite going this super bright. So I would maybe take the shader on this and this foreground area and take them down a little bit, just because you don't want them getting that bright. Additionally, these flowers are very saturated and getting very frontal with the light. I would consider trying to get a little more shaping on those, like similar to how these like rivets, I don't even know what these things are called, that hold the shutter, have a little bit more shaping on them. The characters, I like the shaping coming across on these characters. I think that's looking nice. I would want to see, and again, this might just be the way that the shader was built on the robot, as I'm seeing more of this, but it would be great to get some more specular highlight in the red painted area, because there would be just like a little bit more of a shimmer on that. Yeah. And then same things on the brick and the blinds here, or the shades here. They look a little low res, and it's throwing off the resolution on the image as a whole. So if you want, like, if that's the most you can get out of the texture that was provided, you can either use something else or do what they're doing here and just make it more like a solid color with a little bit of a bump in there, like a wood bump map in there. Let's look at the interior a little bit. And then I'm wondering if, like, one of the things that's nice about this interior is that it's different in hue from his skin tone. And I'm wondering if we shouldn't shift the wall color a little bit, maybe blue, maybe green, just something a little bit different than these characters, so that they stand out a little bit more from the background in this particular shot. Yeah. How are you guys feeling about this? Anybody else have any notes?
I think you could turn off the lamp, because it's really bright day, and it's also right in the middle of between the two characters, right in the middle of the frame. It's very distracting, I think. Yeah, I agree. That's a good call. Yeah, just allowing this to be a naturally lit scene. We don't really need the lamp on. That's true. Yeah, by being between the characters, it kind of breaks their connection a little bit. But yeah, I think this is looking. This is a big improvement over yesterday. So really good job. Really big step forward.
There is one more question I would like to ask.
Sure.
How can I achieve the metalness of the robot? I'm trying to do it, but I'm not able to achieve it. Any idea? Arnold?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up there for a second. Can you say that one more time?
I'm trying to achieve the metalness of the robot, but it's not able to achieve it. I'm not able to achieve it.
Yeah. How the way that I would do it was I would take. So he already has a color map that has his like red and like the red paint versus the kind of the grayish stuff that's peeled back. What I would do is I would take that into Photoshop, grayscale it, and then adjust the levels. So like, let's say the red is all. I'm trying to think how it would be. I'm trying to think how my process is this. The red would be all white because that's where you want the reflective material, and then the gray areas would be black, and then you can put that into the. You can either put that. I would put that into like the metallic or the metalness of the shader, and use that as a map for metalness. If you're using, I think Arnold has that.
I also found Arnold, like, and maybe I'm doing this wrong, but like just to learn the shaders and learn what like each attribute does.
Yeah.
I've been setting presets to like something. It's like, oh, I need this to be metal, so I'll go grab like the metal preset inside Arnold, and then I'll start using the maps to like replace out what the intended was, and then like I can see A versus B, like, oh, their preset versus, like, now my, quote, custom, like, version of it or something like that. That's been useful for me to kind of figure out what everything does.
That's a really good point. Yeah, so start with their preset shaders and then pull it back from there. Even if you, like, are using it just to test to get a little more metalness, like you can put a shader on there temporarily with a default setting, get that looking right, and then maybe appropriate that back into what you're doing, or put the maps into that new metalness thing. Because that's a really good point. Because it's a really great way to learn in any renderer. The Redshift does this, Arnold does this, I think V-Ray does this too, where they give you a bunch of preset shaders in there, and you just set them, and you're like, oh, and then and you can kind of dissect. It's like I'm learning
reverse engineering it or something.
Yeah. If you guys have the Substance Painter stuff, it's like the Substance source, all the shared stuff on Substance is really great for that stuff because it has everything. It's a node-based graph in Designer, and you could just like open that file and be like, oh, they did this and then they did this. Or in Painter, you can look through the layers and see the way that everyone's doing everything. So that's a really good point because that is a very good way to learn. So, all right, cool. All right, we have one more to go through, and that was T's from here. All right, so we've got the previous version and the update. So adding the background helps a lot. I do think that we need something along here to integrate like the ground, because it still feels like maybe they're not in space so much. Maybe they're just like in the sky. But I do kind of want to see like maybe like I said, like a tree line or something along here. But this is looking this stuff is looking really good. So I think we got rid of this dark shadow from the robot down here. I think removing it entirely may be problematic because I still feel like there would be a little bit of darkening underneath him, just not to the degree that we had it before. And we are missing some like shadows back behind this pillow because it gets dark here, but then we don't see the cast shadow there. And then this is kind of goes back into what we were talking about with the eye. This is nice, but I do think, and like as we were talking through some other projects, it would be good to maybe tone down the overall brightness of the eye a little bit and really just make it more about like a little, like a bulb in the middle coming out. I do think that could be helpful. And then if possible, I know that Forrest was saying this is probably tricky, but maybe tilting the head down a little bit to look at the book. And then right now the light that's hitting the book is just kind of hitting the edges. It would be great if it would hit more of the central area. In terms of her, I think that the specularity on her is nice overall, but it's causing, like, especially on her shirt and a little bit here and on her skin, like there's just like a little bit too, it almost makes her look plastic in the type of reflections that she's picking up. So I like that they're there. They just need to be roughed up a little bit and toned down. In terms of her lighting, I feel like even after we tone down the core of this light, I feel like we'll have this eye illuminating this book, and then this one would shoot out this way. And I feel like she would get brighter, and there would be more light on this side of her and less, and like it would really kind of fall off quickly as we go around. So I think getting more shaping on her would be really good. And like a little bit brighter on the screen left side and then roll it off to a little darker. So even if you have to fake that, even if instead of the light being in this position shining on her, if it was like back a little further, I think that would help. Yeah. And same deal with some of the other ones. I think like the saturation on the coffee cup is a little too strong. All right. Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on this one for T?
Small thing in the reflection on her screen right eye.
Yeah.
It's like cut off in the middle, some funny reason.
Yeah.
In the reflection of the window.
Oh, so what was that about the reflection in the window?
In the girl's reflection on the window, on her screen right eye.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird line in the middle.
Yeah. I don't. It looks like it's something else reflecting, but yeah, that's a really good call.
Yeah, I like the way they've added this window texture to also this bottom part, and I think that is definitely like a strength of this piece, like a way to have them both in the same frame without moving the characters from where they were placed. So I'd say like I'd love to see it like that leaned into more, or at least just like know that that's really cool and play with highlighting it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much today. This was lovely as always. It's great seeing everybody. I love the clapping. I'm so glad we do that now. And all right, great. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll be circling back on the forums for the rest of the day, and we will do this again tomorrow. All right. Until then, I will see you guys soon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm